We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Middle East violence, the Hamas caucus, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. House Speaker Mike Johnson criticized the Senate's bipartisan $118 billion border security and foreign aid package after the text of the agreement was released Sunday night, stating that the proposal is even worse than we expected and would be dead on arrival in the lower chamber. The legislation would allocate $20 billion for border security to give the federal government temporary authority to expel migrants when the average number of daily crossings exceeds a threshold. The border security component also includes ending catch and release, increasing standards for asylum screenings, and attempting to process asylum claims quicker. The foreign aid portion of the agreement includes $60 billion for Ukraine, $14.1 billion for Israel, and aid for Indo-Pacific allies. Johnson said he would put $17.6 billion in emergency funding for Israel in a standalone bill up for a vote on the House floor next week. "I've seen enough," Johnson wrote on X. "This bill is even worse than we expected and won't come close to ending the border catastrophe the president has created." As the lead Democratic negotiator proclaimed, under this legislation, the border never closes. The House passed a border security bill a year ago, but Senator Chuck Schumer has refused to allow a vote on it in the Senate. Houthi rebels vowed escalation in reaction to U.S. and U.K. strikes launched in Yemen on Sunday. A spokesman for the Iran-backed group vowed to continue its campaign of disrupting regional trade no matter the sacrifices it costs us. The U.S. and U.K. launched a series of attacks on Houthi targets in Yemen this weekend in reaction to a lethal drone attack on a U.S. base in Jordan last week. The U.S.-British coalition's bombing of a number of Yemeni provinces will not change our position, and we affirm that our military operations against Israel will continue until the crimes of genocide in Gaza are stopped and the siege on its residents is lifted, no matter the sacrifices it costs us, Houthi spokesman Mohammed al-Bakadi wrote on X. "Our war is moral, and if we had not intervened to support the oppressed in Gaza, humanity would not have existed among humans. The American-British aggression against Yemen will not go unanswered, and we will meet escalation with escalation," he claimed. President Biden signed an executive order Thursday authorizing sanctions against non-U.S. Israelis who commit violence against Palestinian civilians in the West Bank. 4 Israeli settlers were sanctioned immediately. Settlers have allegedly launched nearly 500 attacks, killing at least 8 Palestinians since October 7th, according to the United Nations. Israeli forces killed another 360 West Bank Palestinians. West Bank settler violence has reached intolerable levels, creating an unusual and extraordinary threat to U.S. national security and the security of Israel, Biden's order claims. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office argued Biden's edict is unnecessary because Israel acts against all lawbreakers everywhere. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich called settler violence reports an anti-Semitic lie. If there was any doubt that the squad was the Hamas caucus, Squad Democrats Representatives Cori Bush and Rashida Tlaib were the only two representatives who voted against a bill barring Hamas terrorists from entering the United States. The bill, H.R. 6679, which was also called the No Immigration Benefits for Hamas Terrorists Act, expanded a U.S. ban on Palestine Liberation Organization officers to include all PLO members. The bill, which was introduced by Representative Tom McClintock, also barred Hamas members and other participants in the October 7th attack from the U.S. Specifically, the legislation states that any person who participated in, planned, financed, afforded material support to, or otherwise facilitated the October 7th attack on Israel or attacks after that shall be ineligible for any relief under the immigration laws. FBI Director Christopher Wray warned lawmakers on Capitol Hill last week that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities. Wray and other government officials are testifying in front of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party for a hearing titled "The Chinese Communist Party Cyber Threat to the American Homeland and National Security." There has been far too little public focus on the fact that PRC, People's Republic of China, hackers are targeting our critical infrastructure, our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems, and the risk that poses to every American requires our attention now, Wray told lawmakers. China's hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities if and when China decides the time has come to strike, he added. President Biden's younger brother, James Biden, will appear before the House Oversight Committee on February 21st for a transcribed interview. The younger Biden was subpoenaed as part of the investigation into Hunter Biden and President Biden in November. He has not been charged with any wrongdoing by the FBI. House Republicans leading the impeachment inquiry into President Biden believe that James has knowledge of Hunter's business deals and whether the president was involved. House Republicans have heard recently from several Biden associates. 1 year late, President Biden will finally travel to East Palestine, Ohio in February to mark the 1-year anniversary of the disastrous train derailment in the town. Biden was heavily criticized at the time of the incident for not visiting the community in the weeks and months that followed. The White House officials have stated that Biden will discuss his administration's comprehensive whole-of-government response to ensure railroad safety. The Biden administration has been stating that the president would visit East Palestine for the past year. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.